Okay, we can start. Could you tell me please when you started to do graffiti and where?
Well, first of all, graffiti is a given label name by society from Europe to America. So I am not a graffiti artist. I am a subway artist, first of all. And I started in 1978 as a so-called toy. A toy is someone that doesn't really have style, that's just beginning to paint. So I was still progressing with my own style, my own self, and my own artistic views of art on the streets of New York. This was 1978. New York City, Spanish Harlem.
Can you maybe tell me what the feeling on the street was at that time, 1978? Can you tell me how old you were and what was going on at that time?
I was 12,000 years old. Everything was beautiful in New York. Crack wasn't even around. You could sleep on your fire escapes, have barbecues or whatever, have the family over. There was not that much crime. The drug pushers would have respect for the Beach Street cop that would come by. They turned their heads when the cops came by. Can I get a cigarette? Thank you. This is all in the script, don't worry about it. And it was a time of change there, of many other decades. The 70s was a real bizarre decade, but in our art form, it was a chance for us to express our art form on the trains because we couldn't get into the galleries yet.
So how did that work? You said you sprayed the trains. Could you describe when you did it, how you did it, how many, were you doing it alone or were you in a gang?
We were called Assassins of Style. It wasn't a gang. It was just a group of people that knew how to do style and had much style. The armament of the letter, armamentation of style of English alphabet, which was a breed of a different culture from the streets of the ghetto, Spanish Harlem. It was just us, our world. And the reason why we kept breaking into yards is because we couldn't have a gallery to represent us. So we would go into the yards late at night, or like me, when I used to go to school. I go to school, I sign in, I leave. I go paint in the daytime, come back home at 2:30, change, tell my moms, yes, I went to school, come back at 3 o'clock, take pictures, and that was my day of learning, but learning style on the subways, not in his class, learning his story.
Okay. You just told me that the name of the people you sprayed with was Assassins of Style, which probably expresses, like you said, your form of art. But also, was there a certain style in your gang, the way you dressed, the way you looked?
Yeah, we wore shell-top Adidas with fat laces. We wore Lees, we wore mock necks, Kangos, big rope chains, Run DMC, Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, peacoats and sheepskins, leather bombers, name buckles with our name, our crew, medallions, our girl's name, gold teeth inside with diamonds, whatever we wanted to wear, we'll wear, but it was from our culture. Then we wear gazelles to cover our eyes because we were stars back then too,
Can you say something about the functionality of these clothes? Or could you describe again the accessories and tell me what they meant to you?
See, that was the accessory of the hip-hop world and the graffiti world and the rap world. Now, when you come down to the underground subway riders, we would draw and paint like the monks back in the days, in the hundreds back in the days, as they wore their hoods. They went into the catacombs. We went into the subway tunnels. They did their style ornamentation on paper for the town or the city. We did it for 5 boroughs, millions of people. But it was really for us, for our little world, our culture, And what we wore, basically, we didn't wear no gloves. We didn't wear disguises. We wanted people to know this is who I am painting. And all I'm gonna wear is a hoodie because it would get cold at night. And after we paint, we put it on. And we keep painting. For enemies, too. You wear your hoodie in disguise. You sit on the tunnel and wait for your train to go by. You get on and you go home. Contemplate, smoke a bong hit, then you come back again and you keep painting.
You just mentioned the music, the rap music. By beginning of the 80s, this was something really new. how did it feel for you when this came up? How did it influence you?
I felt nothing for rap. My life was graffiti, so-called graffiti.
Well, but you just said that you dressed up like...
Well, when we dressed up for the rap world was when we used to go to the Roxy's, to the Palladium, to meet each other and talk about, you did the nicest train I've ever seen. Get off my dick. You did this, you did that. You know, well, where's your girl? Oh, your girl writes graffiti too. That's only for the club. We would go out wearing our shell toes and our Lees, or you want to really get down to the nitty-gritty, we used to wear the mock necks, the plaid pants, the AJs, the British Walkers, you know, the Playboys, the stiletto hats, the Stetsons, you know. We were like little pimps, really, because the only heroes we had in the streets that had everything were pimps and drug dealers. Pimp and drug dealers would wear stiletto hats, beaver, Kangos, you know, the shit that you see now, people wearing now, bringing it back, which has been dead. They bring it back, and they bring the 70s look back. It's like there's no progress going on. See, graffiti's been dead since 1985, when they left it to die in New York with Mayor Koch, when he put the silver trains on and brought the white elephants. We still destroyed the white elephants because they were white. It was a canvas. After that, they put the silver trains on. We all started leaving. The ones who couldn't piece died. The ones who could still progress on canvas did art shows and went overseas and painted and did graffiti museums and things like that. But all this piecing on the walls and all these stuff on clothes, extra large and sub art, subwear, third rail, all the clothing companies you hear that have so-called graffiti names are really living graffiti, but in clothing. I mean, it's progressed and moved on. It's not like Timberland and Adidas and Nikes and Reebok, but it has its own culture, but still is an underground thing. It's not accepted as a public, as an art form yet. Don't ask me why.
Okay, could you maybe tell me...
You could ask me why, though.
Okay, why?
Why? Because they're scared to death of something they did not create and they have nothing to do with. Now, the ones that are not scared will invest to make money. That's the only reason. Give you the smell of the pen and then break out. That's why.
Can you maybe tell me how your work progressed as an artist? We were talking now, beginning of the 70s, beginning of the 80s. How was your way then? How did your style change?
My style changed from me being so frustrated of this planet and making my style wanna join me to leave this planet. So my style really became futuristic for the future. Let me give you a little example. There's a certain form of life form in space that'll come down, right? Destroy the whole planet. Everybody run underground. Who lives underground? The artists of the subway system know it like the back of their hand. They have to deal with us. Who will deal with these people? Us, because we build styles and letters that are armamentation down with rocket launchers and missiles, really aerodynamic that could fly. So we can have the ability to battle these people. But since all of us in the graffiti world are so with this fucking huge ego, drink an ego shake in the morning and glazed donut and have no unity, we have no leader in this so-called art form. So therefore, I keep painting for the certain type of groups. Rammellzee, Futura 2000, Zephyr, you know. There's a few in Europe that respect the art form in the subways of New York. Not America, not these boneheads that do walls and I'm a graffiti, and they still label themselves graffiti artists, you know? Graffiti in the dictionary says doodling, scribble, vandalism, all kind of fucking bad things for you to see, and in the bottom it says hieroglyphics. Why can't we be called hieroglyphics? They're not gonna go for that, that's another story. But we're not graffiti writers. Europe calls us graffito, America calls graffiti, you know, because they have nothing to do with it. And my style has progressed as just futuristic. I paint for the future. I don't paint for the past, you know? Or maybe I do paint for the past, present, future. I don't know what I paint for, but I know I'm painting for ahead, you know, progress, to keep painting forward.
You just told me that when you started, that was something really new. there weren't many people doing it. It was your friends and hot Spanish.
It was a whole different world, man. The world lived graffiti, as you know it. You know, Wild Style, Beat Street, Crush Groove, Star Wars. You go to an art gallery and someone comes in with a leather pants and a plastic top. For like 3 minutes, she would stand there and the graffiti writers would hawk her and she would say, go ahead. And they run up to her and just start tagging on her, you know. Slaves of New York is an example. In the movie, she was in the gallery, the fun gallery. They came and started writing all on her. That was the culture, see, but we have a little diversion in this culture, see. We have people like Jean-Michel, not so much Jean-Michel, I would say so much Keith Haring. But Jean-Michel fell into that labelization along with Keith Haring. Keith Haring was accepted because he used to write on the maps in the subways of New York where you wait for the train, the advertisement. When it was just black, he would do his chalk. They called him a graffiti writer because it was inside the subways. So they labeled him this. They told him, you represent this. You carry the torch because we don't want these guys from the ghetto to get out of hand. You take it from there. So once again, they pushed us aside and let him carry the torch. And for me, that was just something that the world was living, but it was living a lie. You know, it wasn't really hearing and feeling what was coming from the subways. What was the style? What was the letters? Why they do it? Where they do it? Who's down? Who's the best? Who's whack? Who's this? Who's that? Who's the toy? You know, who's the retard? Who smokes dust? Who smokes this? Nothing. They would never want us to get in there. But yet when we go to Europe in 1982 for the first rap graffiti show with Africa Bambaataa, Fab Five Freddy, and Rammellzee at the Hammersmith Odeon in London, it was the first time that Europe experienced what they've always heard of in New York City, you know. So that to me was one turning point in our world because it was accepted in Europe. So every time I went to Europe to have an art show, red carpet was thrown down because they seen guys painting with an aerosol can and the control of the guy painting and using colors and making a structure, making a face out of a paint can. You're only supposed to cover surfaces, not create with paint out of aerosol can. Since we didn't use a paintbrush, it's harder for us to be accepted as so-called artists. So, in a sense, they loved us and they hate us. They pay for it and they don't pay for it. They advertise it and they don't advertise it. Now you see it in Trick-O-Vision, in commercials and videos and clothing, you know, tattooing. Anywhere you see somewhere to make money, you see this graffiti, so-called. But it's not really the history of it. It's not where we come from. There are only a few left that do what we do because we have to pay the fucking phone bill. That's why. When it comes time to get down and paint for us, then it's a different story. And so on and so on.
You just mentioned Africa Bambaataa and
Yes.
Fab Five Freddy. How did they support you?
How do they support us? Bambaataa supports me 100% every day, 24/7 on the clock. I have no beef with Bambaataa. Fab Five Freddy that has an outlet on TV to put this through, which he used to go on the trains and write, has not done it. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe it's in his contract. Hey, who knows? People do things for money, not for history. Not his story, history. You know? And there's one thing that you should get clear to all of Europe, because they run around running, I'm a graffiti writer, I'm gonna graffiti this, graffiti that, graffiti that. No, man, they're just carrying the fucking label over and over again. We could be anything, you know? We could be, I do wood. That's who I am, Mr. Wood, you know? Or my style is a sewing machine, or can of whatever the fuck, you know? But graffiti is something that we can't accept. I will never accept it. I have to deal with it. It will never change for another 6,000,000 years. But as long as I can say no, it's subway art, street art, you know, breed for different culture from the ghettos of New York City, then, you know, I'm still alive talking with sound to you, and you hear this vibration in your brain cells, and and you could relate. If you can't relate, then you must understand that it's something that it's real intricate, and women that do it, the little kids that are doing it, it's not something that you go to school and you learn. Like in Paris, there's fucking classes that they teach guys how to paint with fucking spray paint. You don't learn that, I want to be a graffiti writer, or I want to be an artist. First of all, it's not a fucking hobby, And the can comes from you, inside of you, to paint, Now, there's another guy in Amsterdam, Outlet, that call him, which is Delta, is perpetrating the fraud. He is a toy. He is nothing to me but a little speckle in the air. But it's just a little speckle that's in my fucking dandruff bald head that's irritating me as a assassin of style. To take someone's name and use it for a long period of time, you have to be a bad motherfucker, man. And if you're not a bad motherfucker, then you have to be someone with real balls or just skeptical about your life. So therefore, I am the only one that could paint the name Delta. He does not know how to paint the name Delta in 700 ways. There's no way.
Okay, you just said you were just talking about street style and what you were doing as a form of street style or subway art. Could you please explain what makes it street style? Because it came out of a certain area of town. It didn't just happen everywhere because it just came out of one area. Can you describe, say something about that?
I just told you this, but I'm going to tell you it again.
No, but more closely, please.
Where did it come from in the street? The people.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans, blacks, couple of down white boys, that had this in them to paint. And they all joined together and painted on the streets of New York and the subways of New York City. Now, for you to ask me where does it exactly come from, it comes from back centuries ago. Centuries ago. The monks did it, the Greeks did it, the Romans did it. The Incas, the Aztecs, everyone did it. Now we're doing it, but since we come from the ghettos, it's a different story, And we're doing it with aerosol. We're not carving our name. We're not like building things for you to see, like a pyramid. And that's like a so-called back in the day, something to express yourself, These things come from the ghettos because we were stylists, It was like a gift that we had. So we kept putting it on the trains because we would go to the galleries with our portfolios represented. And they go, oh no, we represent art. Hey, okay, fine. I got my own gallery, 5 boroughs. Millions of people will see it. Thank you. After a while, we want you to go to Europe. Why? Because we're going to get money off this. Your ass is coming over there. You've never been out the fucking ghetto. Take you to Europe, man. Get your passport. Come on. Sure, why not? Where's the contract? In the back of my mind, there is no contract. There's no such thing as contract. Trust me. Yeah, trust you to claim bankruptcy, use my art, build a castle somewhere in the south of fucking France, use me, leave me, and then I still have my art. Which is okay with me because we used to do this for free on the subways. There was nothing that we thought we would ever get an interview. We never thought we could paint a car, a sewing machine, shoelaces, whatever. My life was on the subways. There was 2 years where I only fucked 2 girls and painted on the trains for 2 fucking years. Only fucked 2 girls. That's sex 2 times in 2 years. Because my life was graffiti. Subway art. My life was painting on the trains. There was no its buts about it. Dropped out of school, this, my mom's, dad, left my girl, whatever. I was fucking a spray can. That was my life. The clothing, the culture of it all was just so... It's nothing you can't ever imagine, You could hear about it, you could see it, you could wear it, but there's no way you could go, especially right now to this day, to a subway, break into the yard, throw the dog a steak, and go peace. Go home, clean up, wake up in the morning, stand at the station with your camera, the train runs by. Everybody's like this, and you're like this. Gotta go. To the next one.
You told me that when you started to do this, you wanted to be recognized for what you did.
Fame. It was all about fame.
Yes, you wanted fame and you wanted to be recognized, but very quickly it happened that this was a criminal act in the eyes of the law and the state. Can you tell me what the artists did to stay incognito or not to be recognized? I saw, for example, that you cut out your face on some pictures, but also maybe you could describe what clothes you would wear to, or sunglasses or whatever. Could you tell me?
You have to be like the CIA and the government to really get over on the system in New York City and Los Angeles. You have to be just like them. Criminals, crooks, gangsters, the baddest gang in the world, the government. We'll let you know this with JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Kennedy's brother. They will make a movie show you, we killed them, so what? Life goes on. You people just nothing to us. Okay, cool. We all got a purpose anyway. But to us, the hiding and the secrecy, like in Europe a couple of years ago, when I was incarcerated, actually, for 24 months for trying to smuggle a large amount of drugs from one state to another. They arrested me because I needed more money to get to Paris. I only had $3,000 and I needed $8,000 because Paris is a really expensive place to live, you know? So I needed more money. I got arrested. 24 months of my fucking life was spent behind the penal system, and I learned a lot about it. I learned that you have to be a con artist to get over on the system, no matter what. Even if you're not doing so-called crime, everybody lies. Every fucking body does something bad in their lifetime. Now, for us to think we were doing something bad, it's never that. And especially when we used to, they actually threw more fuel on the fucking fire when they would put it on TV. This is vandalism. We will catch these people. This is the guy on the #1 list. Cool, man. I'm going to get more paint. Now I got your attention, motherfucker, and keep painting. And I'm going to keep showing my art on the subways. So they would look for me. I would hide my pictures from photographs. I would use different names, not graffiti names. My name is Albert Stone, whatever the fuck, you know. Fake ID, you know. Call guys, yo, how's the club? Is it cool? Because they were task force looking for us. Girls would set you up. Yeah, I'll let you fuck me, man. Just come over. Blah, blah, blah. I live in 183rd in the Bronx. In the R, I added R for Rammellzee, the evolution griller. From the depths of hell, Rammell. He is one of the guys that will tell you he's an equation. He is not a person or a name. He's an equation. He deals with numbers, quantum physics, and things like that. For him to be talking about quantum physics, it's all about numbers and letterizations and style for the future. He is one of the master killers in the world. All due respects to Double Z, Rammell. The carpet is a magic carpet ride that I did futuristically. Has the moon crescenting with the clashes of suns, all planets. All I do is paint for the future. So my art has really progressed very far and advanced. And that's all my art is about. Just style. Non-stop style. Futuristic. You know, never-ending letterization. I disarmor the letter from every English alphabet, from every other alphabet in the world, and make it my own. So it's all of a different language, culture, and style. This is war, which I will create in Europe when I get there, and I have an open invitation to perpetrators writing my name. Ready for me, Delta's ready for you. If not, then cut it out, get with the program, or accept the invitation. Delta's ready when you are.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Geht mal hinter mir jetzt weg.
Painting?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Now this is a quote from Rammellzee. Earthward letters used as weapons, communications as weapons. Styles are also used to defy the word of the letters above ground. Those who call it graffiti, Rammellzee has since risen above the struggle over letters. He's developed a complex system of three-dimensional letters weapons. He calls it iconoclast. Pantherism, Rammellzee known, refers to the presentation of as Gothic futurism. The Earth and leading other to the year 2000, a new phase of resigning and assassins of over the letters, which are art assassins of style. Could you show me this side? Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Das sieht so aus, würde ich sagen. Das ist W nochmal. Das W nochmal nehmen. Das A nochmal oben. Nee,
This W always represents the wizard of style. Right now, in my eyes and what I feel from painting on canvas to subways to cars, that I am the stylist, that I am the top-notch one of them all, because there are not many representing from street to futuristic. So I will consider myself one of the stylists out of many others that are still trying. I am the OG, the old school, as you could say it, you know, from way back in the days, 2 decades ago. I will not stop painting. I will keep painting until I die.